Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of That's My Opinion. Had big doings in Troy this week. Had the Republican caucus, which had a really huge turnout. I think much more than what the Republican committee had anticipated. I believe there were, let me check my notes here, I think there was 200 or 300. Yeah, here we go. There was like 359 people at the caucus, and of course President Trump was elected the candidate of choice. I think Nikki Haley ended up with 17 votes out of all of that. But it was a good time. I met a lot of nice people. A lot of our Republican politicians out there. Met Tim Hamilton, which is a nice man that is a Marine veteran and is part of the Republican committee. Saw Jessica Zumwalt there. She was been very active with the program that they put on. I think she was part of the committee. Mrs. Grunig was elected chairman of the committee, and her husband, Judge Grunig, was elected co-chair. So it was a good time. If you didn't make it this year, you may make it the next time. But just an FYI, if anybody wants to be part of the Republican Club here in Lincoln County, they meet on the second Tuesday of the month out at the Health Department. I think they have a meeting room in the basement that they use. But anyway, some of the people we saw out there, we saw Alderman Lyford out there. He was doing his thing at the door, and I think his wife, Sherry, she's one of the Republican committee people. She was there. There was a number of people there. I think also this past week an article came out in the Lincoln County Journal concerning our mayor. He was interviewed about getting his pay reduced. I guess the Journal can only report on what they're told, but if you read the article, I believe the Journal was misled about some things in that article. Everybody knows that the mayor was cited by the Ethics Commission for improper conduct by a public official because he voted himself a raise. I believe it was 2 years ago. I believe it took over 2 years to get this thing settled. But anyway, he voted himself a raise. And at the time that he did that, I stood before the board and I told them flat out, I told the mayor that he was violating state statutes. I quoted him the state statute that he was violating, and I also told him that he was not allowed to break that tie and the reason why. Well, in that article, the mayor has stated that he didn't think he did anything wrong. Well, he did do something wrong. He violated state statutes. He violated city ordinances, and he knew that when he did it. By his own statement to Elliot Davis' program on Channel 2 News, he said that the reason that he voted himself that raise was because he was acting city administrator. Well, that too is also a violation of state statutes. He's not allowed to operate as the city administrator when he's the mayor. State statutes state that if he wants to be the city administrator, he can do so. But the procedure is he has to resign his position as mayor, wait 1 year, wait 1 year, and then apply for the city administrator's position. He knows that. So for him to tell the Lincoln County Journal that he didn't think he did anything wrong leads me to believe that he thinks he's above the law. I don't believe so. I think he has to adhere to the same laws as the rest of us, the same statutes as the rest of us, and the same city ordinances as the rest of us. You know, the mayor has a track record of violating city ordinances. You know, with his garage or fallen down shed that he's got up here on Main Street behind the house that he owns. He's allowed that to fall into disarray, which is a violation of city ordinance, and he's been cited by the police department on this, from what I understand. And this mayor seems to have a complete disregard for state statutes and for the city taxpayers. It makes no sense to me why he's doing what he's doing and why he's saying what he's saying. I was at that meeting and I told them that they were in violation, state statutes, city ordinances. And in this article in the Journal, the mayor says, well, I asked the city attorney, and he said the city attorney told me that I had a vote. I was a member of the board. That didn't happen. What I heard the city attorney say was, it's up to you. I heard Mayor Scott say, what do I do? And Attorney Granman told him, it's up to you. So that's what I heard, and I've been told by other aldermen and other people that was at that meeting that that's what they heard. So I don't know what meeting the mayor is referring to. Maybe it was a private meeting with him and the city attorney. But in the open session, what I heard was the city attorney said, "It's up to you." So my next question is, why is he and Alderman Leifert fighting the city administrator's position so hard? It doesn't make any sense to me. The statutes clearly state, the city ordinances clearly state that the city should have a city administrator. It's a matter of law. It's not a choice. It's not a if maybe we should have a city administrator. It's we shall have a city administrator. And just to clear this up, I know Alderman Leifert said, well, it doesn't say we have to have a city administrator. It says we shall have a city administrator. Well, the Supreme Court cleared that up. They recently made a ruling that the word shall means you must have a city administrator. That's a matter of record if you want to look it up. But anyway, I don't understand why I can go to the state statutes, or anybody can go to the state statutes and the city ordinances and look these up, but yet Alderman Leifert and the mayor don't seem to be able to find them. Are they not looking up the statutes? Are they not following the ordinances? Because state statutes also says that the mayor and the alderman should have a working knowledge of statutes and ordinances. So if they're not looking them up, if they're not following the statutes, they're not doing their job. We need to think about, as taxpayers, who we're putting in office, who we're trusting to run our city. Because currently, I don't feel that Mayor Sconce or Alderman Leifert are looking out for the best interest of this community, of the taxpayers. When you don't follow the law, when you don't follow the statutes, you don't have anything. Everything starts to break down. Just look at our nation right now, what kind of shape it's in. You know, our federal government's not following the laws or following the statutes. You know, we don't need to do that as a city. We need to follow the law, follow the state statutes, and do the job that we were elected to do. It makes no sense to me to fight something that's printed in black and white. And currently it would appear that we've got a couple of people that's been recruited to support Mayor Scott's and Alderman Leifert's agenda, whatever that may be. And we don't need that. We've got 4 aldermen that are actually doing the will of the citizens and actually doing things to get this city back on track and get things running in the right direction. We currently have a man running for alderman. Don't know the man, don't have anything against him, but his political statement, said that he wanted to give Troy a voice. He wanted to give the voters the representation they wanted. Well, first off, the alderman that he is trying to replace has done that. She has supported her ward, has spoken for her ward, and has done some of the right things that needs to be done. And it would seem that certain outside forces are hell-bent on destroying her, and that's wrong. And the gentleman that's running against her, I have nothing against him. But he's only been to one board meeting. Now, how are you going to make the community a better place to live if you've only been to one board meeting and you really don't know what's going on, what the current agendas are at City Hall? I know I've asked him several questions about what his agenda was, how he felt about the mayor being cited by the Ethics Commission, what he thought about Alderman Leifert being cited by the Ethics Commission, what he thought about the current possible lawsuit from the Public Water and Sewer District with the city. All of those things, legitimate questions, and he refused to answer. As a matter of fact, his wife told us on Facebook that he was not answering questions at this time. Well, I mean, if you're going to run for alderman and people ask you questions, you ought to be ready to answer. I know I've asked Rachel Dunard, Harold Horner, Dave Norman. I've asked them all the same questions, and they've answered me. They've answered me honestly. And, if you got questions for your alderman, call them and ask them. They'll talk to you. There's only one alderman that I know of that you can't call and talk to. And I guess everybody that's in her ward knows that because she doesn't answer the phone. But I will tell you this, Rachel Brote will answer her, or Rachel Dunard will answer her phone. She will talk to you. And if you've got questions for an aldermanic candidate, ask them. You've got the right to know. You've got the right to know what they stand for before you put them in office. If they refuse to answer you, they don't deserve your vote. So that's my rant for this week. Hopefully the mayor and Alderman Leifert will get on board with some of these things and quit fighting them. I know Alderman Leifert, when this whole city administrator thing was brought to their attention, kept saying, we don't need a city administrator, we don't need a city administrator. I disagree. We do need a city administrator. It's going to be worth the money. You need to let your alderman know what you want. You need to let the mayor know. The mayor has the opportunity to get himself straightened out and do his job rather than trying to do a job that was never legally or meant to be his job. He made a statement that his job description required him to do the administrator's job. It doesn't do that. His job description is he presides over the board meetings to make sure that they run smooth, don't drag. He signs contracts for the Board of Aldermen for whatever the Board of Aldermen has voted on. And that's about it. His position is largely ceremonial. His authority stops. What people don't understand is the department heads and the employees don't work for the mayor. The mayor is not their boss. The Board of Aldermen is the boss. They are the ultimate decision makers. They are responsible for everything that happens in the community, as opposed to what Mayor Scotts had told them previously, that the day-to-day operations of the city is none of their concern. That's not true. It is their concern. They are responsible. When things start rolling downhill, they're not going to go to the mayor. The state's not going to go to the mayor. They're going to come to the Board of Aldermen and ask them what went wrong, what happened, and why. Simple as that. So if you think you work for Mayor Scotts, you're thinking wrong. You work for the Board of Aldermen. The Board of Aldermen work for the taxpayers. The mayor is just largely a figurehead. You can look it up. It's in the state statutes. That's what it says. Troy is a fourth-class city in the state of Missouri, and there are certain rules that we've got to live by, whether we agree with them or whether we don't. You know, it doesn't make any difference if you're an alderman or if you're a mayor or if you're the janitor at the city hall. We all got to live by the same set of rules. And the quicker you get to know those set of rules, the better off you're going to be. That's my opinion. What's yours? Give me a call. Contact me on Facebook. If you got an opposing opinion, I'll be glad to put you on here. Thanks. See you next time.